Okay, we're about a minute. Oh, it's 7 p.m., so I'm going to get started. So welcome everyone to the monthly Start Zoom. I am super excited to be here. My name is Abby O'Neill. I am a Start Ambassador, and I found Isagenix 5 years ago and have never looked back since. It changed my life. Tonight, we're going to be chatting about connecting and more specifically, belief and how to overcome objections and the confidence for how you show up in the conversations that you're going to be having. So before I dive into the content, I wanted to have you think for a minute about, since you started Isagenix, how has your life been impacted? Whose life has been impacted since you started Isagenix? What are the things that have happened since you started Isagenix? Can you imagine your life not have been introduced to Isagenix? It's really important that we really get in the right mindset about what this company, what these products, what the financial opportunity, what the community has done for us, and always keep that in the forefront of our mind every single day, because it is easy for us to forget how much of an impact that this company has had on us already. And some of you might be brand new. You might have been invited to join this call and you're like, I don't really have anything that's happened yet. I recommend that if that might be you, you have a conversation with people that either invited you to this call or people that you're surrounded with that are in Isagenix, and ask them how it's impacted them. Because I can't imagine if I had not found Isagenix. And every time that I'm going to have a conversation, reach out to somebody that might be somebody that I'm nervous to reach out to, or have a conversation that makes me a little bit nervous, I always revert back to thinking, I can't imagine if Joanna hadn't shared Isagenix with me. I can't imagine the changes in my life and how differently my life might look had she not shared Isagenix with me. So I believe that all of you should get very clear on how much of an impact this company has had on you already before you even think about having those conversations with others, because you're going to bring a very different energy to a conversation. So now that we've all realized why we're grateful for Isagenix, I want to dive right into the belief piece. And the reason that I want to chat with you about belief first is because in my heart, I believe that belief is one of the key skills or key parts to building this business. And this is why. So people follow people that they know, like, and trust. People are drawn to people that have belief. People want to connect with, be around. They want to follow people that they trust and have belief in where they're going. It is so important that we build our belief muscle in Isagenix as we're having conversations with other people. And the reason that's so important, I always take it back. If you ever heard me train before, I talk about this often. But David Wood at his University in Action event always says, and uses this as an example with belief. So if you were going to propose to someone and ask them to marry you and spend their life with you, and you got down on one knee and you said, I am 80% sure that I want to spend the rest of my life with you, I don't know if I'd say yes to that. It's not the same type of belief and commitment and feeling as somebody getting down on their knee and me saying, I am 100% sure I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you so much. That is a very different energy than I'm pretty sure I want to. And what happens is so many of us say yes to Isagenix and wanting to share it, but then we don't go to work on our belief in what is really possible to create. So essentially we're saying, hey, I think this is going to work. I think this Isagenix thing is good. You should join me. You should follow me. But we're not working on that belief piece. So when people feel that energy of like, Abby says she's doing this, but I'm not really sure that she's committed to it or not, people are not going to be as drawn to joining you in what you're doing. And this is important in leadership as well, to be having these conversations with people you're working with and knowing that if they're going out and they're sharing Isagenix, it's important for us to be having conversations with our people about their belief in what they're doing, so that we're not just sending them out there and saying, hey, have conversations, even though they don't even believe in what they're doing and we're expecting them to have conversations. So I really believe at the end of the day, I could give you A through Z, exactly what I do, beginning to end, how I build this business. But if you don't have belief in the areas I'm going to go over, it really doesn't matter, because you might not get out of your comfort zone and do the things that I'm doing anyways, because you don't have the belief factor. So I am a very big believer in belief. It's like a believer belief, but I am. And I'm going to go over the categories. And again, if you've ever been to a university in action, this is where I built all of this off of. David T.S. Wood is one of the most amazing people in the whole world. And we are so, so lucky to have his leadership in this company. So as you're listening to me tonight, I would love for you to rate your belief in the following categories. I just picked the products. So the Isagenix solutions, the products that we use, the company, Isagenix, what is your belief? Network marketing as an industry, and yourself as a network marketer. So you can rate, and the other one is the compensation plan, but I picked these to kind of keep it simple. So rating yourself 1 out of 10, what is your belief in that? I can't answer that for you. No one else can answer that for you. You can pretend, oh, Abby, I'm a 10 out of 10 on everything. And I may believe you, but if that's not true, you're never going to be able to do the work that you require doing to grow as an individual, grow your belief, and show up even more amazing in your Isagenix business. So the products, what is your belief in the products? For real. And I always say this, the products are one of, in my opinion, one of the easiest ones, because most people that say yes to Isagenix, it starts with an incredible product experience. You feel the effects of our incredible nutrition. And if you don't have a 10 out of 10 belief out of that right now, commit to doing a 30-day. Use the products you haven't used before. Go to work on researching, finding information about why they are the best products in the world. The company, Isagenix, spend some time getting to know people in the company, attend the events. Listen to the podcast. There are so many different ways that you can grow your belief in these areas as you're building your business. You don't have to get to a 10 out of 10 before you get into action. But it's important that every day you spend time building your belief in these areas so you can show up better for yourself and your business. So again, the network marketing industry, you can again, learn about all of these and build your belief, events, podcasts, trainings, education, leadership, and other mentors within Isagenix. You can lean on us and them to build your belief in these different areas. If you're not a 10 out of a 10 on, say, the company yet, then have conversations with people that have been in the company for years and ask them questions. Get to know why they fell in love with this and let that build your belief. And the one that can kind of change day to day the most is probably yourself as a network marketer, yourself building this business. And that's because we're always going to work on ourselves. Our belief in ourselves is not always a 10 out of 10 rock solid, but that is why personal development and growth and plugging in and being immersed in this culture, immersed in trainings every day is important, so that you can always be reminded that you are absolutely capable of doing everything that you desire with this company. And I will say that again because it's true. Whether you are brand new or whether you have been here and you've dabbled in Isagenix, or you've been here and you're like comparing yourself to what other people are, stop that. You are 100% capable of doing absolutely whatever it is that you desire with this company, but it is going to be a one day at a time for you, and it's going to be you working on yourself and building your belief in yourself every single day. There is no destination when it comes to that. Uh-oh, somebody said it's cutting in and out. I hope that it's not cutting in and out for anybody else. I should probably get rid of the chat box so I'm not distracted. But it's a one day at a time thing for you to be building your belief in yourself and what is possible for you in Isagenix. Because I promise you, it is possible for you. Everything that you have seen others do in Isagenix is possible for you too, but you have to be willing to do the work, and the work happens one day at a time. And there is no ending. There is no finish line. You have to continuously build your belief in yourself in all areas that we just talked about and beyond. So again, you build your belief one day at a time forever. It's like building that belief muscle every day. And when people challenge your belief, you go to work on building it more. And that's just the reality of it. Because then when you show up in these conversations that you're going to have a completely different energy in how you show up. So, and also I always say this too, and I did this at the beginning as well. If you don't have a 10 out of 10 belief in all these areas, it's okay. But what I recommend that you do is you like latch on and use the belief of others that are working with you until you have that rock solid belief yourself. Have conversations with people like myself that are so committed and our vision is so clear on where we're going, because I know that that's not everyone. And I don't expect that to be everyone, especially when you're first getting started. But you can really take the belief that others have and you can use it as your own until you build your own belief too. And we as leaders can always remember that it's important for us to pour that belief into people that are just starting. So have those conversations. Be telling people why we believe that they're going to be amazing at this. I believe you're going to be incredible at reaching the goals that you've set with Isagenix, because sometimes others that are building their belief need to hear from someone else why they believe in them too. So your belief level is going to set the energy for the conversations that you're having. And I want you to get that, because I think we're always looking for, and while I believe that it is important for us to have the steps and the systems and the action, it is just as important for us to be following through and doing and getting into action with the belief piece, because you can't have one without the other. You can believe in anything being possible, like believe, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to do this, I'm going to change the world, and not have action, and nothing's going to happen. And you can have all this action that you just are like spinning a wheel, action, but you have zero belief behind it. Again, probably not as much is going to happen. You really require both of these at the exact same time. So let's all commit to going to work on that. Okay, now I'd like to chat about the actual connecting piece. Now that I'm hoping that you understand the belief piece and why it's important, the actual connecting, how you connect, how you overcome objections, just really in simple terms tonight, just to help you maybe get out of your own way a little bit and get into more action because you have the belief now. So connecting in its simplest form, how I build this business for myself is, if you don't have a list, and I've said this so many times on stages, in trainings, with my team, make a list. Get to work on having a list. It's okay if it's not an Excel spreadsheet. It's okay if your system is not what my system is, or even necessarily the exact same way that your upline or your person that you're running with makes a list. But whatever works for you, create a list or lists and stick to it and really work them. Because you make a list, you add to your list, and on your list should be everyone in your world, like everyone, people that you know, people that you didn't know, people that you meet, people that you haven't seen in forever. You're making a list not because you're necessarily going to cold prospect everyone on your list, but it's important that you're continuously adding to your list so that you can have people to have conversations with and reach out and connect with. So you make a list, you add to your list, you reach out to people on your list. And I know I'm going to get questions about, what do you say to them? Some of them you might say, hey, I'd love to share Isagenix with you. Some of them you're reaching out to and you're saying, hey, how have you been? We haven't spoken in 10 years. It's going to be dependent upon who the person is on your list and what type of reach out you do to them. Not all of my reach outs on my list are cold, like prospect Isagenix reach outs. I use that as my tool to reach out and build relationships with people that are new from my past. And then some of them, absolutely, I reach out to and I'm like, hey, I have an opportunity. I have a solution. You should check this out. So make sure that you know when you reach out to people, it's not the same thing that you're going to be reaching out to every single time. But you add to your list, you reach out to your list, you add more people to your list, you follow up with people on your list, you reach out to more people, you add more people to your list, you follow up with more people on your list. This is literally on repeat forever. Like, it seems so simple, but this one tool, your list, can keep you in action in your business connecting forever. But if you're scattered all the time and you don't have a list and you don't know who you've connected with and you're not sure who to follow up with, it can become very overwhelming. So utilize the incredible tool. And if you go to isogenicsbusiness.com or you even just Google Isogenics list, there's templates that you can use to build your list if you don't know where to start. So make a list, add to your list, follow up with your list, add more people, reach out, add more people, follow up, reach out, add more people, follow up, on repeat forever. If you're not sure what to do in pockets of your time when you're building your business, guys, go to your list and start reaching out and connecting with people on your list. Okay, now that gets me into how do you actually find people for your list, or how do you connect with them, and how do you overcome objections, and what do you say, and all of the things. So I want to address this very quickly because I think it's important, especially with the times right now in the network marketing profession. Social media is the most incredible tool ever. I'm going to be honest, with the current state right now, I'm more grateful for social media than ever because of the social distancing. But I truly believe that the most incredible network marketers and those that really build the skills do a majority of it belly to belly. I want to give you permission to do more of your connecting and meeting new people belly to belly. I want to give you permission to practice the in-person connecting, build that muscle of having conversations belly to belly. And then, of course, commit to and utilize the tool of social media to help you continue to build relationships and build your business. But I think in some ways, and I might just be feeling this myself, but I think in some ways we have gotten so far away from belly to belly connecting, and so much has turned to just online that we're not practicing the skills that really help us become incredible connectors and network marketers. So while some of us might be incredible at social media connecting and cold prospecting and enrolling and doing all of it via social media, I really believe that that's not duplicatable for everyone all the time. So we really want to practice that in-person, belly-to-belly connecting, having conversations, asking people questions so that we can build those skills and we can duplicate those within our teams and organizations. And then, of course, I am giving no one permission to step back from social media because that is a no-brainer. It is absolutely a no-brainer to be using social media. Every person that I meet in person, you better believe I'm connecting with them on Instagram or Facebook, every single person I can, because social media is the most incredible tool to continue to build relationships with others. So do not forget to use social media, but when it comes to connecting, really focus on that belly to belly. And I really believe too, people are craving connection. They are craving us to sit down at a coffee shop, to ask them how they're doing, to ask somebody to meet up for coffee or tea and connect with them. I really believe that we are craving more of that, and that is something that we can absolutely be doing more of. So when it comes to connecting, you want to make sure, I always make sure, in my opinion, that I am focusing on the person and not the outcome. And I mean that in the way that when I'm going into a conversation, I don't always think of how am I going to get this person in Isogenics? How am I going to bring up Isogenics? The art of connecting and the conversations that you're having, it's really important that you go into it thinking, okay, how can I be more focused on the person that I'm having a conversation with? How can I be more focused on how I can serve this person? How can I be more focused on what this person is searching for, or how can I connect more deeply with them? And how can I take my mindset of I'm going to get them in Isogenics completely off the table so that I'm not overwhelmed with what am I going to say? How am I going to get them in Isogenics? That when you enter a conversation with somebody, you really want to focus on the person and the people over the outcome of getting them into Isogenics. Now, that being said, I don't want you to not then think about how you can serve this person with a solution that Isogenics has to offer. 100% you can serve almost, well, I believe every single person, but not everybody's going to be open to it right now. You can serve every single person that you have a conversation with some type of solution that we offer. That doesn't mean that everyone's going to be open and ready for that at that time. So when you enter a conversation, you want to make sure that you have the mindset of how can I serve them versus how can I get them? Because people go to who they know, like, and trust, and who you build up relationships with. So if I could give you any one piece of advice or tip of how I've built my Isogenics business over the last 5 years, it's becoming a professional friend maker and becoming a professional, or continuing to become a professional at asking people questions. How can I get to know someone better? How can I show up in a conversation and really ask someone more about who they are, what they desire, what they're looking for? Because when you become a professional at asking questions, and you can practice this with your kids, with your husbands, with your friends, you can practice this on social media. How can you ask people more questions to get to know them better and break down to maybe the solutions that you have that they might be searching for? So where do you meet people? Everywhere. You guys, you can connect with people everywhere you go. I would love to use an example of lately where I've connected with people. So I was just in the hospital with one of my daughters for a week, and I connected with the nurses. You guys, we have incredible solutions. And if I had just been thinking in my mind, okay, how can I get the nurses to, like, say yes to Isogenics, which is great, but that's going to not allow me to show up in a conversation and connect with the nurses and get to know who they are, what they're searching for, what they do. So I got to know the nurses that I was spending so much time with at the hospital, asking them questions about their family, about their profession. What do they do? What do they love about what they do? You're truly just showing up as somebody who cares, because you do. If you can show up as somebody who is kind because you are, and that you care about people because you do, you're going to build authentic connections with people. And it doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes I think we want to expedite that process when it comes to connecting. It takes time sometimes. So I added a ton of the nurses that I was connecting with during that week on social media. And now I'm following up with them. They're seeing how I market and brand myself. They're seeing what I do, what I stand for. So who can you be connecting with when you're out and about in the situations that you already live day to day, and not be nervous or scared to ask them to connect, but realize that you might be able to, like, brighten this person's life in one way or another. And maybe it won't be Isogenics, but maybe it will. But that's not really up to us to decide. What our goal is to build that muscle of connecting, so that when people are looking for the solutions that we offer, we're there for them. And that won't happen if we don't open our mouth, get to know people, fact find, ask them questions. How are you? Again, do you have children? What do you love to do? Why do you love your profession? What do you love to do for fun? All of the things. People are craving connection and to talk about themselves. Practice that. And you can have beautiful conversations, and you'll meet so many incredible people that will become your close friends. And some of them might end up in your Isogenics business, and some of them might not, or not yet. So another example is checking out at the food store. I always talk to the people that are checking me out at the food stores or cashier. Always. I mean, just recently I was checking out at one of our grocery stores, and we started having a conversation about stocking up on food and how everybody's buying all the food, and there's no pasta and there's no chicken and there's no this. And I was like, I am so grateful that I have my nutrition that I can buy online. Well, I said, really? What's that? It was a perfect, I was just authentically sharing. Like, I really am grateful for my nutrition online. And then the person asked me what it is. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's a health and wellness company I'm partnered with. And of course, when you're going through the line, you're going super fast. So I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to tell you more about it. It's awesome, especially at a time like this. I just connected with the person on social media. So I think sometimes we overthink connecting, and it really is just you practicing getting out of your head and into your heart so that you can have more conversations. You can get to know people better. You cannot be thinking about what they're going to say or what they're not going to say or what they're going to do when you don't know any of that unless you start having a conversation with somebody. So that brings me to objections and why. Okay, okay. This is how I'm gonna objections. Okay, so objections are not about you. So I want to give you permission right now to realize that when somebody objects, 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. So if you're entering conversations and you're already creating objections before they've happened, I want to give you permission to let that go, because it's not about you when somebody has an objection. A lot of times objections have to do with timing. The timing's just not right for them right now. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that what you said was bad or they don't believe you. 9 times out of 10, an objection has nothing to do with you. It's that they don't have enough information yet. So how can you give somebody more information if you get an objection? You can use a tool. You can send them a video. Isagenix has the most incredible tools ever that we can utilize. And if you're not utilizing the tools, you're not being duplicatable. You don't have to be an expert, you guys. When somebody comes to you and say, I don't know, this is too expensive, you can use a tool, or you can go through qualifying questions with somebody and saying, well, what do you currently spend on food? What do you currently do for lunch and dinner? Or what do you currently do for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? What do you currently do for all of your snacks? And then you could also bring in a third-party validation, like say a mentor or an upline or somebody you're running with, a partner in the business, to do a three-way call with you to help you overcome the objections. You don't always have to have the answer to an objection right when you're given it. And I want to give you permission to understand that, because I think so many of us are afraid to have the conversations in the first place because we're already creating the objections of what's going to happen before it even happens, because we think we need to be able to overcome every objection. Does that make sense? Because you don't have to be able to. There's so many different tools and people you can bring in, and it's okay to say, you know what? Let me look into that for you. You know what? I totally appreciate that you feel that way. I think if you had a conversation with my friend Abby, she might be able to address that for you. Would you be open to getting on a Zoom with her for 15 minutes? You can always deflect an objection that you get and be like, I don't know the answer to that right now, or I totally understand why you feel like that right now. I'd love to share a video with you. I'd love to share an article with you. I'd love to get you on the phone with X person that might help address that better. Don't ever be afraid to call on and utilize other people to help you when objections come up. You don't need to know all the answers. And I really believe when a no does not necessarily mean no, it means not right now. And they're still on my list. And I will still follow up with people, because I think too often we think when somebody says no and then we follow up with them, we're worried that we're going to be annoying or we're going to bother them or we're going to offend them, when that's not necessarily the case. Those are all stories that we're creating in our mind. Because remember, go back to at the beginning of the call when I said, think about how much Isagenix has changed your life already, or what has it done that you're grateful for. So many people that say no, or so many people that have objections right now, there might be a time in their life where Isagenix and the solutions we have might be perfect for them. But if we're not there for them, if we're not there following up, letting them know we're not going anywhere, who's going to be there to help them when the timing is right? Right? So just know that you're going to get objections, a lot of them. I get more objections now than when I started Isagenix in the beginning. And that's okay. I get a lot of no's, but I'm really great at following up, following up, following up. I'm here when you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. So, and I'll just give you another example too, is I believe when it comes to objections, and this is something that you can grow over time, is that you will find what you look for and what you expect. So what I mean is, if you're always worried about you're going to get, say, the price objection, or you're always worried you're going to get an objection that that's a scheme, or you're always thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get this person to talk about Isagenix and they won't get on the phone. If you're consistently seeing and worrying about the same things and you're expecting the same things, you're probably going to attract those. So get very clear on what you're looking for and what you're expecting to happen in the conversations that you're having. So if you're reaching out to somebody and you're sharing Isagenix with them and you're asking them about what their goals are and why Isagenix would be a great solution for them, really think about what you're expecting that person to say or do, because every single time I get on a Zoom or a call or through a message, every single time I have the expectation that that person is going to be blessed with a solution that Isagenix has to offer. Every single time. I expect it. Does that mean that every single person I get on a call with or I do a Zoom with signs up for Isagenix and gets started right away? Absolutely not. But you better believe every time I am going to spend my time connecting with somebody, serving them, getting to know them, and sharing Isagenix with them, I expect them to get started with Isagenix, because I know over a long period of time what I expect will happen. And I really want you to hear that, because it's possible. Like, you expect something and you're going to start to see more of it. People always ask me, do people get on the phone with you, or do you get the price objection a lot, or what do you do when people say it's a scheme? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really get that very often, because I'm not expecting it. And again, that happens over time. At the beginning, I am sure that I got a lot more of that. But as I built my posture, I built my belief, I built my confidence, I got to work on myself, I got to every single event. I was willing to be coachable. I showed up even when it was messy. I got on the calls even when I had no idea what I was going to say or what I was going to do. I kept showing up, and my expectations of what was going to happen continued to change and grow. So it's okay if you're like, oh, that's really nice that you think that, Abby, but I'm still working on that. Good, go to work on it. Expect different outcomes. Expect that people are going to join you. Expect that people are going to buy into your vision of where you're going, because it's real and it's important. Expect that people are going to say yes to you more. Expect that you're going to change more lives, because you are. So what you expect, you're going to see more of. What you look for, you're going to see more of. So, okay. So this is an energy business, 100%. I want to give you permission right now to be excited about what you have. I want to give you permission to be so excited about the solutions that Isagenix has more than ever today. I really want you to sit on that for a minute and think about it. More than ever, in my opinion, our products are a non-negotiable for everyone. This nutrition, this nourishment, people require this more than ever. Financially, the gift that we have to help somebody, whether it's create a couple $100s a month to bridge a gap, or create a full-time income, or create a 6 or 7-figure income, we have the financial vehicle that we have earned the right to get excited about and share with others. Get that. And then one of the most important to me right now, more than ever, people require our community, you guys. People are searching for positivity and empowerment and collaboration over competition. People are searching for a way to show up in a community of people that love one another and support one another. People are searching, whether they know it or not, for a community that is going to allow them to grow more as an individual, to transform their mindset and their habits, and essentially transform into the best and grandest version of themselves. People require that more than ever in a world where we are so inundated with fear and anxiety and overwhelm right now. Our community is the opposite of that. People require this community. So while I know some of these conversations might be hard to have right now, I want you to get very clear on what you have and how you can educate people on the products that we have that are life-changing and nourishing, the financial opportunity that is there and available to anyone that is seeking it. And the community, you guys, do not be afraid to share the incredible community of Isagenix and what we are a part of. It is everything. You guys, it is everything. So I am challenging you to be willing to be messy, to show up, to practice growing your belief every single day, to have those hard conversations, to be willing to ask people more questions, even if you don't know what they're going to say to them. Practice it over and over and over and over again until you get more confident. If you talk to anyone who has built this business, you better believe that they would share. They have had so many uncomfortable conversations. They have had so many conversations outside of their comfort zone, but it has led to the most beautiful friendships, relationships, and growth of their business too. So don't be afraid to show up messy. Don't be afraid to show up with incredible energy and be excited for what you have and where you're going. Don't ever let somebody make you feel shameful or that you shouldn't be sharing the incredible gift of Isagenix during any time, because you guys, we have a gift. We have a gift. And if you are showing up in your conversations and you're authentically connecting with people because you're showing up to serve them and you're showing up for a person, not an outcome, you're going to attract beautiful people into your life. You're going to change so many amazing lives along the journey. And like I said, if you need any bit of belief, please take some of mine, because I have never been more convicted and bulletproof in my vision and commitment to Isagenix and where we're going and what we have here and how it can impact so many people. You guys, we are going to continue to change hundreds of thousands of lives. And you have that gift to give to others, but you have to be willing to grow your belief, have the conversations, and show up even when you're uncomfortable, because it's worth it. Okay, now I have a quick call to action for all of you now that we've just done this awesome call. On Saturday, there is a live Super Saturday that I challenge all of you to register for and attend. I will make sure that that Zoom link or that link is posted, but it's posted all over Isagenix, but I challenge you to show up at that, because like I said at the beginning, one of the best ways you can grow your belief in what you're doing, where you're going, and what's possible is to continue to show up for the trainings and the events. And we are so blessed to be able to do so much of this on the internet, on live platforms. Let's make sure that we're utilizing that, and we're 100% inviting other people to get the exposure and training too. So happy Monday, everyone. Go get into action, grow your belief every day, have more conversations. Do not be worried about the objections you're going to get, because there will always be a tool or a person that can help you get through every objection. And no, most of them are not about you anyways. Timing and what the person is going through is 90% of why objections come up. So love you all. See you soon. Bye.